What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for May 13th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. As you can see, I'm coming at you from outside today. Everyone's still sleeping. Recording a little bit earlier, going golfing. Want to make sure I can get that in and done before we leave. But you can see the ocean. It's beautiful down here. Having a good time so far. But as always, let's start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, who is your most hated Atlanta Brave? 87% of you said it was Chipper Jones. Hard to argue that. I still might have to go Maddox just because of how smug he is. But you cannot argue with Chipper Jones as being one of the most hated guys. So, as always, thank you for participating in the question of the day. 267-495-8531. Get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. All right, quick housekeeping note from yesterday's episode. The Cleveland Naps are not an offensive term. The Naps was the name that was won via fan vote. They wanted to name the team the Naps after Cleveland star player Nap LaJoie. And Nap actually, ironically enough, does have Philly ties. He played for both the Phillies and the Athletics in his career, but spent most of his time in Cleveland, was a player manager. So the fans wanted to honor him. So that is where the Cleveland Naps came for. All right, tough one for the Phils. The news started off bad that JT was sitting out with a sore knee. Topper did not seem too concerned about that, but still, I mean, that's one of those positions where we can survive Trey Turner being out for a few weeks, but if JT has to miss some extended time, that is not good. It looked like Chris Wheeler, I do that all the time. Zach Wheeler struggled a bit, and I don't know if it was because he wasn't expecting Stubbs to be in, or he's just not as comfortable with Stubbs, but he just looked like he struggled throughout the day. They got down, they were up 3-0, they got down, but this team continues to show fight. I keep feeling I get like that 07 to 2011 vibe from this team where they're never out of it no matter what the score is. But Soto, man, it wasn't necessarily his fault per se this time because of the stupid ghost runner, but it just seems like anytime they blow a game or something bad happens, it's Soto or Sir Anthony. But no time to rest. They fly up to New York to take on the Mets for a 2-game series. It's always fun to play the Mets, so we should have some fun the next 2 days with that. Some Sixers news, but not necessarily Sixers related, more NBA. How about the Atlanta Hawks pulling the upset of upsets, getting the #1 pick? I don't know if it matters, but it's still a pretty cool story that they were able. I think they had like a 3% chance or something. Excuse me. And then the poor Pistons just can't buy a break, but that's why they call it the lottery. Sixers have 16th pick. You could get a good player from there. You're going to see lists as we head toward the draft, like, oh, the best 16th round pick or 16th pick of all time. But you're also going to, the likelihood is it's not going to be a good player, so it's focusing more on free agency and what they're going to do with that. And I don't know. We'll just have to see. But Knicks fans, what happened, man? It's like that team did not show up. And if OG is not playing, they're going to be, they could be in trouble. But I could also see Rick Brunson coming out or Jalen Brunson, sorry, Rick is his dad. Jalen Brunson coming out for 50 in the next game, but we'll see. But man, what a blowout loss for the Knicks. You hate to see that. Actually, no, you love to see that. All right, speaking of the Knicks, check out my boys over at the Clash and Conference podcast. I'm sure Topher will have a lot to say about this loss. But I'm sure it'll be all positive. So check them out wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. As I mentioned, Eagles' schedule will be released this week. We will go over it. Again, I mean, it doesn't mean much or of anything in May, but it's still a fun thing to go through. And we kind of all correctly picked that gauntlet that the Eagles had this year was going to give them trouble, and it did. So we'll see what happens moving on. But schedule released this week, and we will go over it. Still not too late to go to phillygoat.com, though, and get your London series collection for that series, whether you're going to London or whether you're just going to watch it. They have a wide selection of London series from the Founding Father shirt to I'd Scuff Mrs. Met, especially it's apropos because they're playing the Mets. So go check them out. And then the new Angry Sixers fan line designed by Olivia Smith Designs. She does a good job over there. So go check them out. PhillyGoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. All right, today we are going to do another double header. This time, not baseball related, though. First, we're going to go back to 1985. And on this day in 1985, construction began on 1 Liberty Place. And why is this important? Well, because up until that point, there had been a gentleman's agreement with, I think it was the Art Commission and sort of like the city government agencies, as well as all of the builders and developers, that there would be no buildings and no structures that would go higher than William Penn's hat. Well, 1 Liberty Place is going to go way above William Penn's hat, and thus started the curse of Billy Penn. The legend goes that William Penn is mad, so he put a curse on the sports teams who, up until that point, were having some success. I mean, the early 80s was a good time for Philly sports, even into the mid-80s to a certain extent. And it opened when 1 Liberty Place opened, though, in 1987. The curse officially started, and then you have the Flyers losing the Stanley Cup to the Oilers in 7. Then you had the 93 Phillies. You had all of that stuff. And the curse remained in place until June of 2007, when the builders of the new Comcast Center put a little William Penn statue on top. And instantly the curse was lifted. So June 2007, the statue was put there. September of 2007, the Phillies chased down the Mets to ultimately win the division, then won the World Series in 2008. Then all of a sudden, we finally get to the Super Bowl. Phillies won a few divisions. The Flyers go to the Stanley Cup. Sixers, well, they still are stuck in the curse of William Penn. Maybe, just maybe, we should put a little statue of William Penn on top of the Wells Fargo Center to bring them some good luck. But on this day in 1985, construction began on 1 Liberty Place, leading to one of the most bizarre and ridiculous curses in history. Just a bizarre and crazy stretch for Philadelphia sports as well, just not getting there, and then Joe Carter getting your heart ripped out. The Eagles finally getting to the Super Bowl and running into Tom Brady. So just all of those crazy things, but the curse was lifted. All right, and then on the court, we're going to go back to 1999. And on this day in 1999, the Sixers beat the Orlando Magic 97-85 to go up 2-1 in their first round playoff series. AI had 33 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and 10, yes, that's right, 10 steals. The 10th steal set an NBA record for steals in a postseason game, which I completely forgot that AI was that good early in his career with steals, and just it was something that people did not see. Like, I was watching highlights of that game, and he was just as incredible as he was in 2001. I forget early in his career, man. He, not that he lost it, but like he was a hungry, scrappy guy, and I think that's the AI that people really, that 99 to like 2002 AI was who we all fell in love with. That 98-99 season was a lockout season for the NBA. So it was a 50-game season, I think it was. AI and Larry Brown, it was the first time they got back to the playoffs, and the natural progression. They ended up losing in the second round to the Pacers, but the ball was set. The wheels were put in motion for this team to really make that run to the 2001 finals. So on this day in 1999, Sixers beat the Magic. AI sets an NBA playoff record with 10 steals in a game on the same day that in 1985 they began construction on 1 Liberty Place. All right, finally today, it's a family affair, and today we're going to talk a little bit about yesterday's hero, Jayson Werth. Jayson signed as a free agent with the Phillies in 2007. He was hurt, so there was a lot of questions coming in. This is one of those under-the-radar Pat Gillick moves that were awesome. By the end of the 2007 season, he became the everyday starter and was a big part of that playoff run going down the stretch and chasing down the Mets. all told, he only spent 4 years in Philly, which it seems like he was here a lot longer. But from 2007 to 2010, he ended up with 95 homers, 300 RBIs, and a 282 average with the Phillies. But more importantly, 1 World Series championship, 2 National League championships, and 4 division titles. Not too shabby there for, during his 4-year reign. Also made the All-Star game. I believe it was 2010. He made the All-Star game, or it might have been 2009. Either way, all of that led to him signing a 7-year, $126 million contract with the Washington Nationals. One of my lasting Jayson Werth memories was when we at the Phillies victory parade, him just driving down on the fire truck with, or whatever trucks, the buses, I guess, with a big oversized one of those fists that, like, superhero Incredible Hulk fist that you can fit a beer in, just drinking beers with that the whole way down. But just a good guy for the Phillies. But he comes from a long line of athletes, specifically major leaguers. He's a third-generation player. His great-grandfather, John Schofield, played shortstop before having a gruesome, tragic leg injury that cut his career short. That his grandfather, Ducky Schofield, you gotta love that name. Like, and we're doing the nickname tournament, but Ducky Schofield is a great name. But Ducky played 19 years in the big leagues for multiple teams. Won a World Series championship with the Pirates in 1960. And then his uncle Dick Schofield, who I remember growing up, 14 seasons, but he was on the Phillies team, or the Blue Jays team that beat the Phillies in 1993. His mom was no slouch either. She was a track and field star who still holds 2 national records. And then his dad, Jeff Gowen, was a wide receiver for Illinois State and played in the Cardinals minor league system. He was estranged from Jason's mom, so once they separated, his stepdad, Dennis Werth, was a first baseman for the Yankees and the Royals, and really is the guy that ignited Jason's love for the game and would have him out practicing and everything. So Jayson Werth, hell of a lineage there from his family on both sides, and even his stepdad played in the majors too. So that is today's family affair, and it also leads to today's question of the day. And today's question is Jayson Werth Philadelphia Phillies Wall of Fame worthy? And you know how I feel about the Wall of Fame. I feel like it's watered down when they let guys like Juan Samuel in. But all things considered, since he was only here 4 years, does what he did in those 4 years constitute him being in the Phillies Wall of Fame? Hit me up, Jimbo_Mott on Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram. Call into the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. Get you in. Let me know, Jayson Werth, is he Phillies Wall of Fame worthy? Obviously, to me, if you're letting Juan Samuel in, you need to put Jayson Werth in. But in all seriousness, I think he is worthy just based on how incredible those 4 years were. And I apologize for the paper shuffling. It is windy out here. But let me know, is Jayson Werth Phillies Wall of Fame worthy? 267-495-8531. Get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. Jayson Werth also was our family affair, third-generation major leaguer. On this day in 1999, Sixers beat the Magic. AI set an NBA playoff record, which still stands with 10 steals in a game. Also on this day in 1985, construction began on 1 Liberty Place, and that is what ultimately led to the curse of Billy Penn, which stifled our sports teams until they put a little statue up on the Comcast Center. We need to put one up on the Wells Fargo Center to help these Sixers out. But go out, enjoy your day, and we will be back tomorrow. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Monday, and until next time, I'll see you.